Welcome to another episode of Full Build Friday, where I try to build a character from a comic, game, or similar source using the baseline rules of Pathfinder Second Edition and the Path Builder app. We're shaking things up this week with a build for Quake from Marvel Comics. As always, we need to establish some goals before we get into the build itself. The unwitting daughter of a supervillain, Quake, originally Daisy Johnson, discovered her powers while shoplifting, accidentally causing an earthquake. She was taken in by S.H.I.E.L.D. who trained her, though her loyalty has always lain with Nick Fury. Under this tutelage, she became a leading espionage agent and an expert at undercover work, while also developing into a masterful hand-to-hand combatant, capable of throwing down with other renowned martial artists of the superhuman community. She has also developed psychic shields able to block out powerful telepaths. While initially believed to be a mutant, she was eventually revealed to be an inhuman, who has the power to generate and manipulate vibrations. As per her codename, she can use these vibrations to cause earthquakes, but can also wield them with pinpoint accuracy to shatter components, blow up parts, or somehow generate force fields as seen in several instances. With our goals in place, let's dive into the ancestry, background, and class for this rubble-rumbling rival. We're back to using the human ancestry along with the skilled heritage to get her some more skill training. This heritage will make her trained to deception, and then she will take natural ambition so that she gains an additional class feat when we get down to that. For her background, she will use the Order of Knights experience, which is a setting agnostic version of the Awesome experience background. This serves to reflect her time and training with S.H.I.E.L.D. This makes her trained in society, netting her the Courtly Graces skill feat, and also makes her trained in warfare lore. When it comes to her class, Quake will be a monk, which is an idea that I have warmed to immensely as I've built this character. Thanks to her natural ambition, she will have 2 class feats. Her first choice will be Mountain Stance, which might seem a bit strange, but provides a very important feature for the build down the line. She will also pick up Key Strike, using vibrational forces to enhance the power of her blows. At least that's how I'll be flavoring it. She's trained in acrobatics, athletics, stealth, and thievery, making her physically capable and also a solid espionage agent. Given her use of Mountain Stance, she'll want to keep strength at the forefront of her ability scores, but actually values wisdom as her secondary ability as it will be important for some of the focus spells that she picks up down the line. For her second level class feat, she can take up Stunning Fist and flavor it as her using vibrational forces to disrupt enemies that she strikes. With her work for S.H.I.E.L.D., Quake takes Secret Speech as her skill feat to aid her in passing messages to her compatriots. Quake still feels like she's lacking skills, so at 3rd level she takes Ancestral Paragon to gain natural skill, and become trained in crafting and intimidation. Her actual skill increase for this level sees her become an expert in athletics as well. Loyal to a fault to Nick Fury, Quake has interceded on his behalf to stop people from attacking him, which is why she takes Stand Still at 4th level, potentially letting her stop rampaging mutants dead in their tracks. She'll take up Quick Jump for her skill feat to aid her mobility, and as a generally useful feat. This is always a good one to have in your back pocket for when you need it. At 5th level, Quake picks up a 3rd first level ancestry feat with Keep Up Appearances, so that she can maintain her cover when pressed while also making use of the increase to deception that she gets from her heritage at this level. She applies another skill increase to acrobatics, making her expert in that as well. With her 6th level class feat, she takes up Mountain Stronghold, letting her benefit from her recent dexterity boost and gain an effect similar to raising a shield, which could represent the force fields of vibrational energy that she's created. She then takes Catfall to help her stick those superhero landings without blowing out her kneecaps. As an inhuman, our earth-shaking espionage expert has enhanced endurance and takes toughness at 7th level to represent this. As a monk, she also gains her first path to perfection, and this was honestly a very hard choice. Ultimately, I decided on increasing reflex to master for her first path, mostly to shore up her lacking dexterity, but she does actually seem fairly nimble, as much as Mountain Stance would like to dispute this. However, if you think differently, go for whatever saving throw you feel suits her best. I can understand all of the choices. As for her skill increase, she becomes a master in deception. Ki Blast at 8th level will let her project her vibrational forces at range, and is a contributing factor in keeping her wisdom at a competitive bonus. I'm not certain force damage quite works for the vibrations that she generates, but I do have an idea for that coming up here shortly. Then she takes Quick Disguise as a skill feat for the sake of her undercover assignments. Speaking of which, at 9th level, she takes Clever Improviser so that she can adapt to whatever situation she finds herself in. The skill increase for this level will go to Athletics, bumping that up to Master. 10th level is always a juicy level up, coming with a class feat and ability boost. For the former, she takes Entwined Energy Key, choosing Sonic damage to represent the vibrations that she releases and blasts through the air. I personally feel that Sonic is a slightly better representation of vibrational energy than Force damage is, but again, that's just me, you might feel differently. But in a similar vein to Secret Speech at 2nd level, she'll take Double Speak as her skill feat, so that she can pass messages to her squad mates even if they aren't part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Quake was able to resist the mental intrusions of Emma Frost, and will take Slippery Secrets at 11th level for her general feat to represent this. To further aid in that mental resilience, she takes her second Path to Perfection to Will, increasing that to Master, while her skill increase boosts her Acrobatics to Master as well. Disrupt Key at 12th level does admittedly deal negative damage, which certainly feels a little odd, but I actually really like this ability conceptually. I would personally flavor this as Quake leaving vibrations resounding throughout an enemy's body and racking them with persistent damage. The only real issue is that damage type, like I said. On the skill side of things, Kip Up, much like Quick Jump, is just a super solid skill feat that gives her some excellent action economy. She improves her ability to improvise at 13th level, with incredible improvisation as her ancestry feat, and with her 3 primary skills at Master, she starts increasing her thievery, getting it up to Expert. While I'm only tangentially familiar with it, this is meant to at least be a nod to the live TV show version of the character, who was an adept hacker. That doesn't really have a direct correlation in a medieval fantasy game, but thievery is at least conceptually close in my mind. Finally, at 14th level, Mountain Stance pays off big time in the form of Mountain Quake. This allows her to enrage the earth in her eponymous eruptions and was a deciding factor for going down a pure monk route, along with options like Entwined Energy Key and her next class feat. She takes up Wary Disarmament as her skill feat based on my justification for increasing her thievery at the last level. At 15th level, she will become a legend in Deception, which will allow her to take Reveal Machinations as her general feat. While she mainly uses her deception to carry out her clandestine missions, this is a handy feat just to throw out some debuffs on people, which is always important considering that she is using her wisdom and only has a master DC eventually for her focus spells, for her key spells. Her final path to perfection will also make her a legend in reflex saves. As I said, there were a few defining feats that ultimately decided the monk class for me. At 16th level, Quivering Palm was another one of those feats, and is an excellent, I would say perfect representation of Quake exploding the heart of Wolverine to halt one of his rampages. From her skill feats, Lie to Me is a nice fit to aid her when she's conducting investigations, allowing her to take advantage of her superior deception skill. At 17th level, I actually really like Heroic Presence, because the temporary hit points could be flavored as her creating those vibrational force fields around her allies. She applies her skill increase to Athletics, raising that to a legendary status. Coming in at 18th level is Shattering Strike, to represent her using her vibration powers to break apart objects or punch through the protections of her enemies. And then while it is coming in a bit late, Titan Wrestler is a skill feat allows this tectonic tumbling terror to tango with towering titans. For 19th level, she uses a home in every port, which in this particular case is less about her having friends to reach out to, and more about having shield contacts and safe houses. She finally increases her Acrobatics to Legendary for her final skill increase. When it comes to her final class feat at 20th level, I wasn't really feeling any of the capstone feats. None of them really stood out for her. She's already plenty fast, she doesn't need the quickened one. She doesn't have multiple stances to take advantage of few stances, and while she has some accelerated healing as an inhuman, it isn't to the Golden Body standards. However, she does have a fighting style with the Forceful trait, which led to me going back to the 18th level class feats and taking Diamond Fists. Maybe it's because I tend to prefer the safer bet, but I like increasing her base damage die with this feat rather than gambling on the deadly trait from another option. As for her final skill feat, she'll grab Cloud Jump, letting her use her vibration powers to launch herself sailing across the sky and into the fray. There are a lot of ways you could go in a free archetype game for Quake. My first idea is to focus more on her role as an operative for S.H.I.E.L.D., with picks such as the Rogue archetype. The Knight Reclamant is another choice that is packed with flavor, but maybe doesn't mesh quite as well with her abilities. Another option is to make her a student of perfection, who follows the path of untwisting iron. With this, she can gain more temporary hit points for her vibrational shields, or use the Untwisting Iron Root's key spell from Perfect Key Expert to gain another way to create cataclysmic quakes, at the cost of a focus point. But this covers the courageous Quake, so let's see how it all shook out. Quake is a skilled human monk with the Order of Knights experience background to represent her taking in and training by S.H.I.E.L.D. Her depthness at undercover assignments comes from her investment in deception and skill feats such as quick disguise, as well as doublespeak and secret speech, helping her pass on information to her colleagues without breaking cover. This proficiency in deception also allows her to take slippery secrets, which along with her path to perfection for will, can serve to represent the psychic shields that she has demonstrated. Her martial abilities come from her class, with Mountain Stance providing her with a solid damaging fighting style, while also being important for other aspects of her design down the line. Monk also helps to represent her enhanced physical capabilities as an inhuman, with its incredible movement, path to perfection for reflex, and even general feats such as toughness. To represent her primary power of vibration manipulation, she starts with Key Strike, Key Blast, and Entwine Energy Key for sonic damage, but can use it to start making earthquakes once she picks up Mountain Quake. Shattering Strike allows her to use vibrations to break up objects, and she can also target the interiors of components with deadly accuracy, blowing up hearts with her quivering palm. She can even reference the vibrational force fields that she makes in some incarnations through the AC bonus from Mountain Stronghold or the temporary hit points she can grant through Heroic Presence. This valorous but volatile Vandal vanquishes vicious villains with vast vibrations as her vocation, vacating violent villages through virtuous ventures. Comic book characters can be tough to crack sometimes, especially with the background some of them have, but I'm pretty happy with this one. Be sure to let me know what you think of it, what other characters you'd like to see, or even if you want to just drop a comment on how you like the video or not. You can check out the blog for a breakdown that includes item suggestions and a fuller exploration of the builds used in a free archetype game. That, along with the Monster Monday Twitter and Discord, are linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, and have a fantastic Friday.